Oh, I'm glad to see a lot of people here already. Screen is not a lie. See you, tall boy. Here I am. Hey, everybody. Oh, glad to see so many people here, like, already. This is going to be a fun stream. We got character tier list, episode tier list, which, by the way, I need to check Discord. Admit it. Bore. Hi, everybody. I'm so glad so many of y'all showed up, like, right on time. All right, well, we'll see where V falls in the tier list. Okay, so is this the good... Ronya, the one that you posted, is this the good tier list to use? That's a lot of characters. Holy, who are some of these people? Oh, are some of these the... What is this? Chubby Ida? Yo, some of these characters have not been seen for like forever. All right, so some of these, this is gonna be mostly a season 2 and 3 focused tier list. So if a character was like a non-issue in the season, like Tibbles or somebody, I'm just gonna skip them. Get my chat back up here. And do we want to start with characters or episodes, by the way? I'm thinking of starting with episodes because I think the character tier list is going to be a little spicier. Okay, so I have this set up. Lego Ida. The hell? That's going in NA. Unless that's the only Ida on this tier list that I see. All right, what's the deal with Lego Ida? And yes, I know Tibbles was in one. He made a cameo in this season. All right, what is Lego Ida? I'm going to open up some juice. I don't know what YouTube's terms of service are. You know what? I drink on stream. I drink beer on stream every week. I think this should be fine. I'm cracking open a Pumpkinator Pumpkin Stout because it felt like the spookiest beer that I have. It's felt fitting with Owl House, so cheers, everybody. How's the mix, by the way? Music too loud, music just right. Are we good? Cheers, everybody. This is Coca-Cola, if anyone from YouTube comes asking, by the way. I just realized the pour itself wasn't on screen until like just now. There, we'll top ourselves off here in a minute. Is a meme? Well, which episode? Give me the deets for Lego Ida. You can't just tell me it was a meme and then not explain the meme. I know I wasn't there for the fandom. Okay, also sorry. I guess you can't really see the camera stuff I have like off to the side. You made cocoa for the stream and you finished already. Well, cheers. Cheers for the cocoa anyway. Okay, so while we're getting started, while I start making my first point, does anyone have a good episode tier list? Because the one I have, if I switch my scene for a second, the one I have here has, you know, you can barely read this. So it's like the first day, like some of these I can't even read. Plus this is, it says it's the whole series, but this doesn't. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 36. Yeah, I guess that's enough. So, does anyone have one that's slightly easier to read? If not, I'll make this do, and I'll just kind of narrate what I'm putting where. Which, hey, if we're only doing the tier list for seasons 2 and 3, then this should be fine. But I'm going to turn this down just a hair. So while we're getting started, I wanted to talk about a couple ideas I had and a couple things I kept going throughout the whole reaction series. My Owl House bingo card. Where I made 5 predictions at the start of the series. We got 4 of the 5, so that's pretty good, I would say. You can technically get bingo with 4 if you have the free space, so do we want to give me bingo for this or not? Do you, the community, want to award me bingo for the Owl House for my predictions? Because I would award myself bingo. I'm seeing a yes. I'm seeing another yes. Okay, bingo. Bingo it is then. The other thing, once I believe it was Mulder that told me that there was hidden stuff in every episode. There were some runes hidden in every episode, as well as the hidden message for the both of the first two seasons. But once I was told that there was a hidden like word in every episode, I was like, try my best to be eagle-eyed for it. So season 1, I found 4 out of 19, so right around 25%. Season 2, my count was 6. I found them in episodes 2, 8, 13, 14, 7. Okay, so it was 2, 7, 8, 13, 14, and 19. So I did better in season 2 than I did in season 1. 6 out of 21, though. Still not the best, but some of those were really dang hard to find, man. But I just love when there's like extra stuff happening in these series. I guess I'll just share my thoughts on the series overall. I liked it a lot. Obviously the big elephant in the room is that it got just completely done dirty by Disney. And yes, I would have loved to see a full season 3. An idea I had for a video would be, what if Amphibia got the Owl House treatment and they only had 3 special length episodes to tell their final story, and how that would go, which I think it would be interesting to see how you can try to condense the story that Amphibia did do within those three special length episodes. I think that would be fun. Would that be a fun video? Should I try to make that? If anything, like that would be so difficult though, to kind of like edit it down and be like, okay, how many minutes can you dedicate to this, and kind of just say, here's the general plot you could get there with that. I think that's an interesting idea. You need to be, you do need to be watching Amphibia if you want. I guess that's the thing though. I can make any video I want to make, right? But yeah, overall, speaking of Amphibia, I feel like I've been internally comparing the two shows a lot because they were described as sister shows on Disney. They came out both around the same time, and were, in production around the same time. I don't think they shared any real team members or anything, but they are always talked about as sister shows. So given the two in a shootout, I'm still gonna take Amphibia. I think and I don't know, maybe if Owl House got a full season 3, we'll never know, but I don't know. There was just something about the core cast of characters and how they were all written and how they ended up. I believe it was Mulder that said one time that I think Mulder said one time that they had issues with how many characters there were in the show and how hard it was to juggle. Amphibia was, so much of it was just Anne, Hot Pop, Sprig, and Polly for most of the show. And yes, you had other side characters around, a couple other like main characters that came in and out, but they kept the full like core cast that they were dealing with pretty condensed for most of the show. And even to the point where you can even say Polly becomes kind of a non-issue throughout the show. That was you, Jam? Oh, well, my bad. Maybe both had similar sentiments. Well, I'm sorry. Yo, Ronya. Thank you for the 20 Swedish. Is that Kronor? What's the currency over there? Thank you. For whatever it is. That's my first ever. What is this even called? A super thanks? A super cheer? Thank you. It means a lot to me. I have no idea what that is in American dollars. Kronor, I was right. Let's go. My dad traveled a lot when I was a kid and would bring me currency from wherever he went. And he did go to Sweden a lot when I was a very small child. So we have some Swedish currency at my parents' house. I don't think I have 20 of them, but I have at least one, I would say. Yeah, I asked on Ronja was in one of my daytime weekend streams one time, and I asked, is it Ronja or Ronya? You know what? I don't, it's still cool. Thank you so much. You did not have to do that. But yeah, so in general, Owl House was great. I'll take Amphibia over it, but I'm so glad, like, I wish I had Amphibia to watch for a reaction series, but I'm really glad that I had the experience that I did watching Owl House in the way that I did, building up this community. All of y'all who were in here, all of y'all watching the VOD after the fact, those of you who commented week after week, it was a real nice, tight community, and I'm super thankful for that. Like, when I started Infinity Train back up again, and Hilda shortly after that, I'm not going to be doing premieres for those, at least at first, because like, I don't know who's going to be watching it. Like, I know there's going to be some of y'all are going to be like, oh, Hilda's great. But I'm just kind of like, I'm just like, I don't know who's there. There's not that community. Owl House, I knew, like, there's going to be people there watching week after week, even if the numbers, like, compared to Has Been that I'm doing right now are less. Like, it's just the core community. I've gotten to know y'all over the course of the series. I see names pop up week after week, and I'm like, oh, it's them. It's them. Nice. Awesome. Love to see it. So I'm super happy for that. But yeah, so I'm excited for that. And so let us hop into, I have a couple surprises here. A couple sins that I have committed, a couple crimes against the world and the show that I have ready to share with y'all. But first, let's start up with our first tier list. Let's change the music to, you know what? I'm just going to do what I always do. We're just going to listen to the Kirby's Dream Land 3 soundtrack. Because this is legitimately the best soundtrack. And you heard it a lot in all my videos. Okay, screen and camera. We're going to start with episodes, and bear with me. If y'all have any episodes you want me to focus on, I'm going to save Season 3 until all of Season 2 is done. But if you have any Season 2 episodes you want me to get to early, let me know. But I am going to start with, I believe that is... Nope, I saw Pirate Loose, and I thought it was going to be On Stranger Tides or something. I'm trying to find Stranger Tides. It doesn't even help that these are all out of order. Or are these in alphabetical order? Okay, okay, Stranger Tides. No, because there's Hootie's Moving Castle at the end. Oh, I hate this. Are they in mostly alphabetical order? No, because there's Hollow Mind. Oh, this... All right, I'm just going to start grabbing them as I see them. You know what? Oh, Titan, where art thou? Let's actually come back up here. I don't think we're going to need an F tier, but I'm going to add an F tier in here. So we have S, A, B, C, D, F. We're going to grab this because it was the first one I saw. Oh, Titan, where art thou? Where am I going to put this one? This episode I didn't think was very good. It made me think, you know, you can't really have an episode just be kind of mid and then just have like a huge plot revelation and that save the episode, which is what this episode basically was. I thought the predicament they got themselves into was super, super basic, and just realizing that King was indeed a Titan wasn't enough to save this one. And they just kind of ran away and fixed it. So for that, I'm going to start off, I could move these around, but I'm going to start off in C tier. It wasn't awful. It was just kind of basic. Yeah, we're talking about, oh, this is Oh Titan, where art thou? I know, it's super hard to read. That was 2x. Oh, no. Wait, which one was Oh Titan, where art thou? Because, no, I'm thinking of Edge of the World. Oh, I hate this tier list. Does anyone have a better episode tier list? All right, let's see. I'm just going to... Oh Titan, where art thou was the Steve episode. Okay. Hold on. Let me just... I'm going to just start grabbing... When I see Season 1 stuff, I'm just going to move them all the way down to the bottom. I see Book Fair, so I'm assuming that's the author episode. God, these are hard to read. First Day, Season 1. Give me 1 second to just lean forward for a second. Escaping Expulsion was Season 2, right? I can't even read this one. That's Grom. God, who made... I was going to see if I could shame whoever made this if it tells me. Any Sport in a Storm is Season 2. Hunting Palisman, Looking Glass Ruins, Keeping Up Appearances. King's Tide. Runners. Alright, I think this is mostly good. Okay. I've at least organized some of them. Okay, so what was the episode I was trying to find? All right, y'all asked. All right, so O Titan was the first one. So let me find O Titan. So this was Steve, and I guess that's the correct picture. I thought Pirate Loose was in Edge of the World, which is why I got confused. Okay, so O Titan, Where Art Thou was King and Steve, and then Loose and Ida fought each other. It was okay. Or was that Clouds on the Horizon? Oh, I'm confusing so many episodes now. No, Clouds on the Horizon was the Blights. Okay, so this was Steve and King. This episode was okay. The Steve stuff didn't really do much for me. I know the fandom loves him, but me watching after the fact, I wasn't there for the week-to-week Steve love. So it's either a B or a C for me. I feel like I'm leaning more towards B. Steve X, who do we ship Steve with? Not Lilith. Absolutely not Lilith. There's a correct answer for who we ship Steve with, or what tier the episode is in. Who is Katya? Is that the one that was voiced by Gray Griffin? Gray Delisle Griffin? All right, it's Katya. Shipping Lilith and Piss. Who would ever do that? You know, I'm gonna put C tier for O Titan. It was fine. Let's see. I know I saw another suggestion up here. Let me scroll up. No, I just see a lot of Steve. All right, somebody suggest an episode. If you suggest an episode earlier, let me know. This is off to a great start. We love Steve because he's like the cabbage guy from Avatar. But see, the thing is, that would be like if they gave Cabbage Guy an arc. Hunting Palisman. Ronya, you're going to be really upset, but Hunting Palisman is one of my favorite episodes in this season. Hunting Palisman is an S tier for me. Yeah, I loved this episode. I love that there was basically no B plot. I like Hunter. And I thought I really liked the adventure that they had with Luce. I love that we learned a little bit more. We learned that he is a bad but sad boy. Man, I loved this episode. It's phenomenal. This was, and even I think my reaction to it was really good. I think if there's an episode that had a particularly good reaction, it's gonna boost that a little bit for me. And I just think Hunting Palisman was one of my favorites. Both that I reacted to, and I just thought the episode itself was really good. Would have been better without Hunter. Yeah. Yesterday's Lie. Let me see if I can find that one. Yesterday's Lie. There it is. Yesterday's Lie I thought was it was a weird episode because it was not very funny in my cartoon comedy funny show. But I thought it was extraordinarily interesting, and it introduced us to V, who I will talk about this more in the character tier list, but V got done, I think, the dirtiest by the show being shortened, because you can tell the fact that they set her up and started teasing her as early as season 1, that they had a lot more they wanted to do. It's going to be an A tier episode for me, I think. So I can let go of my mouse button. But you can tell that they were planning to do a lot more with V. And instead, just when they had to shorten the show, it just kind of like, oh, V's there, I guess. She'll be in 2 episodes. So, but I thought Yesterday's Lie was really good. It was a really compelling mystery episode. I liked the cube dimension stuff, how it was kind of loose, like talking to people but not able to be there and influence anything. Finally talking to her mom. That scene at the end with her and her mom in the headlights in the rain as Luce was like floating up through the sky and Camila was like reaching up. That was really good stuff. Feels like they replaced the Basilisk with the Collector. I can kind of see that. Hey, thanks for being here, Mulder. tell you a story. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Gus, and he was a very, very good boy. The end. There's your bedtime story. Thanks for being here. I know this is way past your bedtime. Oh, tell my story. I thought you said tell me a story because you're going to bed. That works too, then. Hey, while you're here, though, Looking Glass Ruins. Let's see. So this was Gus going to the Looking Glass Ruins. What was the other plot? Was this the one where Luz and Amity go to the library? And Amity kisses Luz on the cheek? This one, I think, is... The Gus stuff was really cool. That scene of him in the graveyard was really, really good. Like, that was some of the most horrific stuff in the show. Just, like, that was one of the first times we saw how absolutely, like, busted Gus can be when he does his stuff. I'm feeling it'll probably end up being a high B for me. Like I said, we can move these around. But I think that's where I'm feeling right now. Let's grab Separate Tides because it was the one I wanted to start with. This is gonna be, let's see. So this was 2x1, right? This was the Selkie hunt where we got like the golden guard for the first time, right? I'm trying to decide if this is a low B or a high C for me, because it was fine. It was just kind of a really basic episode. Night Molder. I know Ronya is going to say Hunter was in it. It was the first time we heard Hunter, therefore it's F tier. But it was a fine episode. It was... I don't know. I'm feeling a low B for it, I think. Oh, we found a better tier list? Yo, link it. If you can't link it here, link it in Discord. I'm seeing a C for that one. It's going to be a low B. It's going to be, at the very least, it's going to be like the bottom of B tier. I'm waiting on that. I'm waiting on that better episode tier list. I like how they handled Luz. Yeah, honestly, like, as far as my reaction to this episode went, I really just enjoyed making a bunch of Monster Hunter jokes and references. And the fact that there were so many people, I asked people, yo, what do you main in Monster Hunter? And I got a lot of comments on that one that were like, oh, Insect Glaive. Once it was introduced into the series, I never looked back. Other people saying like, ah, yes, Lance, a man of fine taste, I see. So I just love that there are so many people watching my reactions who also play Monster Hunter. Ida's pirate outfit was good. I think that... All right, let's look. Is this one better? Oh my god, this is so much better. Okay, all right, never mind. This is goated. All right, let's just carry these over. So what? Hunting Palisman was an S. Nope, I picked the wrong one. Hunting Palisman, S. What else did I grab? Looking Glass Ruins I put in B. Yesterday's Lie was A. Separate Tides was bottom B. Oh Titan was C. Okay. Okay. This is, oh my god, this is so much better to read. Thank you so much. I'll add the F tier if we need it. I honestly don't think we're going to need it for seasons 2 and 3. Okay, call out any outfits, or I just saw the message that said Ida's outfit. So just call out anything you want for episodes, and I'm going to move on to 2x2, Escaping Expulsion. This was Ida fighting her mom and the whole Blight show floor kind of thing with Luz and Amity. I really liked the action of this episode. I loved the stuff with Bump, like depressed that he had to keep the kids kicked out of school with him like crying. It was good. It was good Bump stuff, good Lumity stuff, but even like just good action with Luz and Amity. Not even necessarily like the Lumity stuff. Amity finally standing up to her mom was really, really cool. Yeah, the stay away from my Luz, that line. I'm feeling a low A, lower than Yesterday's Lie, I think, but I really liked this episode. This was, especially right after Separate Tides, this was a really, really good episode. There's no such worst episode. Actually, there is. It was 1x8. Like, I don't mean to be like the most basic bitch of people on here, but 1x8 truly was the worst episode. 1x14 was not the second worst, though. The second worst was the, I believe it was 1x12, the book author episode with King. I did not like that episode at all. And then it was really small problems, I think. I don't know. Go back and watch the VOD for the season 1 stuff I did. I saw Them's the Breaks Kid here. I loved this a lot. So I think something you'll find as I go through this tier list is the episode. I really like episodes that focus on other characters that aren't like Luce and Ida and all them. So getting a full, like, well, I guess technically this is focused on Ida, but like in the past, I really like the episodes that don't focus on the main cast. I say that, and then an episode of Amphibia that I really didn't like, or it was okay. I wish it was better. It was Maddie and Marcy, which the only time Anne appeared was all the stuff was going on. You just see Anne and Sprig like looking on their phones, and they say like, do you think people are upset when the main characters aren't in a show? And Anne's just like, you don't miss them. But in that episode, I was like, I wish there was more Anne. But, you know, Them's the Breaks Kid. You know what? I put it in A. Ah, man. It was just really fun. I was smiling the whole time. I was happy. I think I'm going to put it in A above Yesterday's Lie, because I really, really liked it. I really liked that one. Action was good. Getting more info on Terra, just seeing the whole Raida backstory, it just made me happy. I liked this one a lot. They were so cute together. And then we got, you know, the revelation at the end that Rain was fine and was just kind of faking the whole time. Like Rain just, I think I said this in Discord, but the moment with Rain, like at the very end when Terra hands them the tea and walks away, and Rain just kind of whistles into it and drinks it. Terra walks away. Rain just like stands up and just like cracks their neck. And it's like the most badass thing. I don't know why. Just that tiny little thing. It was just like pretending to play dumb and then just like, let's get to work. It was so cool. I loved it. So that's going to go in the A tier, I think. I like that episode. Ida's Requiem. Whew, man. This is right in the middle of that stretch of just really good episodes. So we got, yeah, like it basically, like from, where's 2x3? What is 2x3? Do I even see it on here? Did I move it somewhere? Or is it, am I just missing it? Because we got, like, basically after the first episode, season 2 was really good for like 8 straight episodes. It was really good. Ida's Requiem is your all-time favorite. Okay, so I don't think I like it as much as most, just because the whole... So, all right. I'm not putting it here, but I just want to explain myself. I think I said in my reactions, but one of my least favorite tropes of all time in media is when there's some kind of a misunderstanding that could be explained if a character just, like, either said one more sentence, didn't leave before somebody else said something, or didn't stop somebody from explaining themselves. I always want people to just, especially when it's like the crux of an episode is a misunderstanding that can be explained in one episode or in one sentence. I don't like that. That's one of my least favorite things. And that's what we got between King and Ida. Ida thinking, and by proxy, us thinking that King was going to leave to try to find his parents. And had he just told her in the first place, yes, it would have robbed us of that great emotional ending. But at the same time, like, I don't want a plot of a misunderstanding. Granted, this was also our introduction to Rain, who is awesome. But I will say Rain was a lot more awesome in a lot of other episodes. This was the episode where they were kind of like, you know, we saw that they were a rebel leader, but also presenting themselves as just a mild, meek, can't speak in public kind of person, right? Or witch. So Ida's Requiem... I gotta do some soul searching. You know, I think this might actually be the spot for it. Bottom of A tier. I feel okay about that. I loved the music video segment of the episode where they were playing together in the woods. It was beautiful and breathtaking. But like I said, just that subplot of them misunderstanding each other made me upset. I didn't like it. But the rest of the episode was great, and then we got to see Tarek, which ended up just being a huge debate that we were just like, oh, is that King's dad? No, it's somebody who sucks. Speaking of, just because I was talking about it earlier, where is Edge of the World? This is going... I don't know if it deserves a D tier, but at the very least, I think this might be the worst episode of seasons 2 and 3. Or my least favorite, at least. Because I think even in the moment, I said so in my video. I said in my reaction, like, I didn't like how basic it was. It's not enough to save an episode with just a single good revelation. So, I don't know. I think it's going to go in D tier for me, just because I feel like something's going to have to go in D tier. We're skipping season 1 because I already did it. This is mostly a seasons 2 and 3 focused one. There's a VOD of a live stream I did when I finished season 1 that has my tier lists for characters and stuff there. Because the character stuff is going to be all different as well. And it's been so long since I've seen the season 1 stuff. So that's where Edge of the World is going to go. Did I miss any requests? No. So let's grab, what's the next one in line? Echoes of the Past. Ooh, the King Past episode. Oh, I think this was other good horror stuff, I would say. I think it might go right here, because I think at this point in the series still, I was still not as high on King as a lot of other people. I know everybody loves King, but I was just kind of like, he's fine. That was kind of my impression at the end of season 1, so that kind of was what I was still working with here. But I really liked the teases of the lore to come and everything, the really emotional stuff from King. It was good. And just the whole Jean-Luc thing, like the really creepy like guardians, that was cool. And the sound design and the music of this episode was phenomenal. It was, as much as I love music, I find myself not really talking about music in my reactions unless it's like a song, right? Like with Arcane, like, yeah, you'd get me to talk about the music there because it was so prevalent. But in this series, it was just kind of like, yeah, it's a TJ Hill score. You know it's going to be great. But that episode, I think, was the first time where I was like, ooh, the sound design here is fucking rad. I loved it. But other than that, it was a decent episode. I think middle of B suits that one well for me. You know, I was talking in either a comment or in Discord. I've never watched Game Grumps. Ever. So even people saying, like, that was Aaron Hansen. And I was like, oh, okay. Is he Grump or not so Grump? That's all I know about the Game Grumps, is one of them is Grump and one's not so Grump. And they're the Game Grumps. Aaron, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, I don't know who you are. Let's see. Keeping Up Appearances. Ooh, this was another really good one. This was one that I think this was one of my best reactions of the whole series. If you're ever wanting to go back and watch any of my Owl House stuff, I would recommend Keeping Up Appearances. It spawned one of our favorite memes of Lilith drinking piss. I think it was a great episode. We were introduced to Ida's mom. We saw Lilith's owl beast for the first time. It made me feel things. Like, I was upset. I was like upset. I was like, no, you're getting scammed. When Luce did the face, that was one of my other favorite thumbnails because I did like the same thing. But the question is it S or A? I gotta keep in mind the episode itself. I think it's gonna be the top of A tier. So I think S is gonna be reserved for like just the best of the best, and I think this is just like almost there but not quite. Yeah, everyone loves the Lilith drinking piss meme. We all know it. We all love it. Okay, what's next? Knock, knock, knocking on Hootie's door! Hoot, hoot! Where are we gonna put this one? I don't know. This was a really good episode. Can I do this whole thing talking in the Hootie voice? No, I'm gonna stop. I haven't done the Hootie voice yet tonight. I had a bit planned where I was gonna sing "We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when. We'll meet again some sunny day." I was gonna sing that as Hootie because Alex Hirsch did that at the end of Gravity Falls. He did that at the end of Gravity Falls, singing as Bill Cipher, "We'll meet again." So I thought that would be a fun bit to come out and do that. Then I never learned the song. This is an S tier episode. We were all fooled. I had been told already that this was a big episode, and I think people were trying to backpedal a little bit, saying, no, it's just fun Hootie filler, Solomon. But I was like, no, literally everyone was saying do this one as a premiere. I don't even know how Knock Knock Knocking on Heaven's Door goes. All I know is like the refrain where he just sings "Knock Knock Knocking on Heaven's Door." Axl Rose sounds a little like Hootie, at least in the Guns N' Roses version. Axl Rose could have been Hootie. Let's see. Yeah, I think, God, did I like it better or worse than Hunting Palisman? I think I liked it slightly less than Hunting Palisman, but it was just one of those ones where like every bit of that episode was perfectly paced. I think starting with King was the right choice, getting the stuff with Ida in the middle, and then the Luce and Amity stuff, and then the finale being like all of them put together to make Lumity happen was incredible. The writing was on point with that episode. It built to a crescendo perfectly. And then when you think you have the falling action, you see Tarek there, "Deliver this to King Clawthorne," and it just spiked it way up. And then the final debate of Hootie going like, "Oh, look, a bug!" Just like, it was the most infuriating ending, but it was damn near a perfect episode. I will do Labyrinth Runners next. Yes. Yeah, Hootie's Door. And even like in the reaction, I think at one point I was just like, had my hands on my head going like, what is even happening here? It just is not stopping. It was so good. That's an S tier for me. Labyrinth Runners. I mentioned earlier that I really like episodes that focus on side characters, and this was essentially a Willow and Gus and Amity episode, but mostly Willow, who hadn't done fuck all for the whole season up until here. I liked this one a lot. I feel like it's got to go close to Them's the Breaks, kid. Oh gosh. We got all the illusion stuff. We got the breathing technique. We got a lot of Hunter with everybody too. I think I need to put it just one above Them's the Breaks, kid. I really, really liked this episode. Yeah, it's the only Hunter episode you actually like, right? Yeah, oh man, I loved this episode. It was so much fun. You know what? I think I'm going to put it under Them's the Breaks, kid, actually. Hello? Yeah, that feels right, because I liked it a lot, but I think I like the Rain and Ida stuff better in this one. That feels correct to me. Yeah, like the stuff with the breathing technique, which I myself did in multiple episodes after that, like King's Tide when I was super stressed. I literally had to pause the episode and do that a couple times. Which, speaking of, King's Tide, where's King's Tide? The most stressed I've ever been watching an episode of anything. Oh man, this is hard actually. Oh, would I be open to read fan fiction live? Maybe. Who says that wasn't planned already tonight? I told y'all I had a couple surprises. So stay tuned, everybody. Ronya, I know you got to go to bed, but there is a little spoiler for later. There's going to be some fan fiction read that I'm very excited for, and y'all are going to have fun with it. King's Tide though. Where does it even go? It's in S tier, but I'm trying to decide where it goes. You know, I think just for the genuine feelings it gave me of stress, I think it has to go in the best one so far. We finally saw the Collector, who just made me go, oh, holy shit. And like the fact that Collector literally just comes down there and just goes like, oh, that's an issue for you, huh? Blip. And just moves the moon out the way like that easily. Like this, you know, a sign of good writing is having you on the edge of your seat. And I was that way the entire episode. I loved Kingstide. It was raining where Luce lives, or in the general area. That's awesome. Yeah, I think Kingstide's got to be the top right here so far. Let's grab an okay episode then. Eclipse Lake. I guess that's technically also our next one. I was not the biggest fan of Eclipse Lake. Also, funnily enough, it was the last episode I recorded before the writer's strike happened, and no, I think Hunting Palisman was the last one that went live, because then I had edited 7 and 8 for people who got it early, and I edited Eclipse Lake during the strike. So it was the last one I watched for a real long time. So the first new one I watched when the strike ended was Yesterday's Lie. But even in my recording, I was just kind of like, oh, this episode's just kind of okay. It was the start of the downfall of Kikimora, which made me sad because I had been on a Kikimora stan train for a while. So I was really disappointed to see the direction her character took. And I was like, oh, I understand the hate now. Oh, she sucks, actually. Damn, what a shame. So it's gonna go in C tier, I think, but I have to decide if I liked it. I'm gonna put it below O Titan. Ida and King were not great in this one. Yeah, this was right after Ida became Harpy Ida, and she was like, I'm gonna do everything I can to become Harpy Ida. Hunter versus Amity was the high, like, it was literally a snooze fest up until the Hunter Amity fight. And it just, Zeno Robinson's delivery of like, this is my grave, was like, that whole spiel about him digging his own grave was so good. By the way, Zeno Robinson, the only voice actor who I've actually gone and followed on Twitter since finishing Owl House. He's just a cool guy. I like him a lot. Yeah, but other than that, it's just kind of a meh episode. What do we got? Let's skip around a little bit. What's the worst one that's still here? Reaching out. Any sport I liked a lot better than the first sports episode. Follies, I think, might be, I know it's a rain episode, but it might be my least favorite one that's still here. Okay, so aside from Ida and Rain fighting, this was Luz and Amity versus Kikimora, right? Oh no, this was Luz and Amity trying to find the author of the books that turned out to be Tibbles and Mathalamule, right? And wasn't Barkus there too? It was the most random shit. I think we're coming up. Hold on. We're coming up towards like the end of the playlist where we're just kind of getting all the really short ones. So let us... Tucson I know is safe. I use it in like every video. Okay, where is... There's my YouTube. There's the chat again. Okay. Okay, let us crank that down in my head. Is the mix fine? Mix sound okay? Audio might be a little quiet. Okay, the book thing is... Okay, I'm just catching up on the chat. The book thing with the authors, Any Sport in a Storm. So then it was just Luz and Kikimora then there. I think Follies is gonna go right there. That feels correct to me. Yeah, and our introduction to Terra. It was a fine episode. It was okay. Good night, Ronya. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the super chat too. That was awesome. Thank you. Have a good night. Elsewhere and Elsewhen, the Billup episode. Like when King reads Ida's diary. Which one's a top 5 episode? Elsewhere and Elsewhen. This was Cool Aunt Lilith, right? Cool Aunt Lilith. Oh, you're going to go and show me the light glyph. Well, it's almost as if the Titan... My Billup voice sounds a lot like my Stolas. Oh! My grimoire. Oh, my little Blitzy. And then Billup just being like, it's almost as if the Titan didn't want me to see it. They're similar voices, actually, at least in my approximation of them. They're very close. Elsewhere and Elsewhen, I don't think it's an A tier. I thought, aside from like all the Billup stuff was cool, but I forgot if we already had pieced together that he was Philip, right? I'm trying to remember if that was something that us, the audience, knew and just Luz found out about there, or if that was something we were supposed to find out about. No, we knew already, right? So I think for that, because that's one of those things, I think we got in the conversation of us, the audience, finding out, and then like Luz, the character, finding out. Wait, no, Luz didn't even find out there. This was the episode where we found out. She didn't find out to Hollow Mind. Okay. So that changes things then a little bit. I still don't know if it's an A tier episode. Elsewhere and Elsewhen, they dropped the hint. Yeah, because that's the one that ends with, I just need to survive long enough to see this through, right? At the very end of the episode. Never meet your heroes, the episode. Reaching out, watching and dreaming, Hollow Mind, King's Tide, Agony of a Witch. Okay, so yeah, so that was pretty much confirmation that he was Belos, that Billup was Belos. By the way, the other biggest meme of the show, the Billup memes, which unfortunately all but went away after Hollow Mind when Luz found out. There wasn't a lot of Billup going on, but that was so much fun with, I guess that was in Looking Glass Ruins when she got the diary and saw that his name was Philip, and I thought that was what originated the meme. I thought she said Billup the first time, and I was like, that's not a name. Yeah, I think that feels good to me because it was a good episode, but not like great. So yes, that feels correct. We're running out of episodes. Let's do any sport. So this was the one that had the irrelevant B plot of Luz and Amity going to find the author of the books, but it was mostly a Hunt Low episode with the flyer derby, right? It was essentially a redux of, and what's funny, I always go to, all my titles of my reactions are puns and jokes, basically, right? So I always love when I have an opportunity to name something similar to a previous episode. Like, for example, in Hell of a Boss, there was an episode with some cherubs that were essentially trying to stop the main imp crew from killing their mark. And I titled that episode of my reaction, Biblically Inaccurate Angels. And then in a Has Been Hotel episode, when we found out something about a certain other angel, I titled that episode, Biblically Accurate Redacted for spoilers. And I just love that I can have the parallel kind of names. But for this one, since it is so similar to the sports episode from season 1, which I think I just named Hooray for Sport. This one I named Hooray for Sport Part 2 after a soccer or a hockey movie, Hot Shots, and then the sequel is called Hot Shots Part 2. And so I kind of did that as kind of a reference to both that being a sports film sequel and a sequel to my reaction. As far as the episode itself, let's see, Hunt Low stuff. He told him his name was Caleb. I certainly liked it better than Any Sport in a Storm, which I think I ranked C or D tier in my season 1 tier list. A lot of people thought Camila was Good Witch Azula. Interesting. Any Sport in a Storm, where do you go? Here? That feels like it could be correct. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Hollow Mind is an S. It was a very good episode. A very fun reaction, I would say. I put the suit back on after Grom, I did the whole same kind of bit where I did the thing where I like edited in like the quick change to the suit, which was a really, really fun callback because Grom was 116 as well. This was 216. So I love doing that callback. Both were very similar that everyone's like, oh, this is the biggest episode of the season. Except for King's Tide, of course. But it was really good. The Mindscape stuff with Belos, Billup, just only for the scene of Belos telling Luce to say his name and then just playing back all the scenes from 212 where she said, like, you're Philip Whittabane, all that stuff. Like, of all the times of her saying his name and him just being like, say my name right here, right now. Oh, it was so good. I loved it. That's one of my favorite moments in the whole series. Oh, it was good. I think it's gonna go at the bottom of S tier for me because I think it was one where I like overhyped myself a little bit on it, where I was just kind of like ready for this to just blow my mind, have me ending the episode on the floor or something. Yeah, Philip, why did you bring us here? Yeah, oh, so good. Yeah, oh, and the ending, like especially like just how far Ida's come of her being like, I don't know what hugs are at the start of the series, to when they both get out, Ida being like, everyone back up, give them some room. Hunter, are you okay? To check on him because she knew that he was going to be like the worst off one. Like, that's another really good moment. And then one of my favorite, I think I posted a short of just all my Hootie voice moments where Hootie's like, Ida, you got flowers from a secret admirer. And she's like, Hootie, those things could be booby trapped. And then like they turn into the yellow liquid. And I was just like, oh no, it's booby trapped. Like that was just like, that was one of my favorite Hootie jokes of the whole series. So I think this is correct. Hoot hoot. Let me know if you want me to say anything else in Hootie's voices. Secret admirer. Next up, we got season 2, episode 14, Reaching Out. Where are we going to put this episode, folks? So this was the one where we learned about Luce's dad. She was being weird about it. Fun action with the tournament stuff. But overall, what was Ida up to in this one? Because I remember that we had... Oh yeah, Ida was trying to get the info out of Warden Wrath that ended up being nothing because he's like, I got demoted for stealing lunches. And I was just like, for real, dog? So that B plot was kind of mid to me. And I don't know. Like I said, I don't like when characters keep secrets, especially with those that they like really, really care about. I think this one's going to be right around there. That feels right to me. Clouds on the Horizon was the Blights and Hunter and Kikimora. Kiki's delivery service was a joke that I like made myself laugh way too hard when I realized it was a thing. I'm trying to decide if it goes top of B or bottom of A. And the crikey, I was so upset at the crikey when that happened, folks. Like, y'all, you fuckers had been commenting crikey since season 1, and I was like, this is popping up way too often for this to be a coincidence. And it was like, not to the point where I'd forgotten about it, but to the point where when it happened, I was like, oh, that's cute. Wait a minute. And yeah, that was a moment. Clouds. Yeah, so she was one. Moscow is one that every time I would watch an episode, I'd go back and watch like a bunch of reactors. I had like a big playlist of reactors that I would watch, and she was always one of my first ones to check out. And she had like the exact same reaction I did. Like you could put the two of us side by side next to each other, and we're both just like, you fuckers. I think she called y'all fuckers too. Yeah, it was basically. And then, you know, after she did it, then it's like, we got to spread it to all the other new reactors. Let's get this guy right here. Just a side note, her and I like react to like the same shit at the same time a lot. Like I first found her when I started doing Over the Garden Wall. She had also just started Garden Wall. And then we both started Infinity Train like right at the same time, coincidentally. Granted, she had, you know, already done the Owl House, but she's doing Hilda after Infinity Train ends or something, which she ended today, I think. So like her and I are like we're doing the exact same series at the same time by complete coincidence. She's a great reactor. If you haven't watched her, she's great. Became tradition dressing up like Grom. Well, didn't that start when didn't Dana say she wanted everyone to dress up in their Grom finest? Yeah, and I know the fake spoilers thing came about because of her, which I asked for as well, because I'm like, that's a bloody brilliant idea. So, hey, Moscow, if you ever see this, thank you. Thank you for your reactions. So that's the tier list for season 2. Let's put some season 3 stuff in here. We're just gonna go in order here. Thanks to Them is definitely an S. You know, I think for the first episode that is the longer length, they paced this episode so well. I didn't sell it enough in my reaction, but the pacing of this episode is damn near perfect. Granted, yes, we got like a couple montages thrown in there, but at the same time, all the moments that needed to hit absolutely hit. They had extra time to let scenes breathe. I always love when scenes can just take their time. I think that's one of the reasons why I loved Arcane and honestly didn't mind editing the 42-minute episodes so much, because there was long periods of silence where it was just characters like actually able to like react to moments in the moment without having to say, I'm feeling like this all the time. So it was, yeah, it was a very perfectly paced episode. The fight scene at the end with the animation with goopy monster Bellos with the killing Flapjack and everything. RIP to Flapjack, by the way. In my finale reaction, the moment that absolutely broke me the hardest was seeing that Hunter got a new palisman. Just seeing that little bluebird on his shoulder just destroyed my soul. And I was just like obscenely like broken with that moment. That's one of my favorite moments of any reaction of mine, because it just like fucking wrecked me. I'm like not getting teary-eyed thinking of like talking about it, but like, man, watching that back the other day in the live premiere was just like waffles. And then immediately following it up with seeing Flapjack's like tombstone memorial, like, oh buddy, oh, straight through the heart. Thanks, but hey, that's the finale. This is Thanks to Them. Thanks to Them was fucking great. I always love seeing a change of pace, seeing, you know, Luce kind of was on her own for most of the episode, and seeing the rest of the Hexolios, them being the ones in the new environment, them having the adventure. Great episode. I loved it. For the Future, I think is the weakest of the 3, but not by much. Where do you go? All right, so For the Future was new Hexside stuff. I did not like the Basha Kikimora stuff. Yeah. Oh, and then the moment when Hunter like comes back after Flapjack like sacrifices himself for him. They're like, Hunter, Flapjack, and he just says, I know. Like, oh, that moment. I understand if Mulder was still in here, Mulder would be bullying me about this, but just because it was such a Matholamule focused episode, just the Basha Kikimora stuff didn't do anything for me. Seeing Luce's Palisman for the first time was really, really cool. Like, that was some of the most like heart pounding the show ever got for me. The Basha and Kiki stuff is supposed to be paralleling Bellos and Collector. Matt was good in that episode. I can't wait to get to the character tier list. All the tier list rankings look interesting so far. Well, thank you. You know, this is my tier list. Everyone is free to agree or disagree. I don't know if it goes in S tier, but I think it goes at the top of A. Oh no, it was leaked just like True Colors. That sucks. You know, so a fun fact, that which I said at the end of my reaction to this, I looked at the air date for the Future. It coincidentally was the exact same day that I recorded my reaction to episode 1 of season 1. Like, I had no idea. It just happened to be that day. Same day. So that was a really serendipitous moment that I looked up. I was like, oh, holy shit. That was like right at the same time. Wow. Avoiding spoilers was a pain in the ass. Yeah. So I was not watching Amphibia when True Colors leaked, but I've seen a video of they got a bunch of the voice actors to record little things, including the best one was Grime, saying like, hello there, this is Lieutenant Grime. Basically telling you, like, do not go and watch the episode, and if you do not spoil for anybody else. It was so good. Yeah, I feel good about that. And then watching and dreaming. If we're going on just emotions based, it's going right here for me. Because I will say, thinking about the structuring of the episode again, the first half, or the first, like, third of the episode is, like, really slow, with showing the collector the owl house, taking the collector to the knee. All that stuff was like, once again, it's a symptom of the show being cut so short, right? You would obviously have had a little more time with the collector to turn them over to our side, all that kind of stuff, to kind of teach him those things in real time. Instead, we're like, we gotta dedicate like just a 10-minute chunk of this episode to that. It was the finale. It was the best finale we could get. I agree. All the action stuff was incredible. Like I said, I've seen another show do a very similar thing to what they did with Luce. I won't spoil, but I had already seen that one. So when Luce went, I think I even said my thing. Okay, Luce is just off to meet an omnipotent being, right? Which she was. Which at least the character that she went and met here was a lot more established than the character in that other show did. And if you have seen that show, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But man, the Titan Luce segment, like, I was just like, I couldn't stop myself from just like crying. I was like, she looks so fucking cool. I was like, I don't even know why I'm crying. But just all the little callbacks of Ida, like, teaching her, like, okay, make the circle and think about what you want. Giving her that actual magic lesson, like, all the way back in season 1 when she was trying, but it's like, you don't have magic. What the fuck can I teach you? Her saying, okay, make the circle, think of what you want, and do it. And then them flying up high was just like season 1, episode 2, when she was like, look, it's a beautiful view from up here, right? But that was Luz taking Ida up there to see the view. And I loved all the little parallels. The epilogue segment at the end of just seeing everybody grown up and everything, seeing that they all grew up to do cool shit, like, just, it was constant tears. Like I already talked about, Waffles on Hunter's shoulder was just like tears, pure tears, and I could not stop crying. It was saccharine, it was sappy, but it was exactly what we needed. It was a perfect send off to the show. Great finale. What they delivered there was truly something incredible. It's just those slow moments with the collector hold it back from thanks to them, I think, for me. That's my tier list, I think. I don't know if I would consider Thanks to Them my favorite episode, but I think it was the best. I think if I was to pick like an actual like favorite episode, it might actually be Hunting Palisman. I think it was just the best written, best paced, at least for the normal episodes. Hunting Palisman, and I think in season 1, I think Understanding Willow. No, Agony of a Witch was my favorite. That episode was good. Oof. Yeah, that episode was good. So hey, this is my episode tier list. Take it or leave it. I don't think I missed any season 2 stuff in here. I think this is all season 1. Like I said, if you want to see my season 1 rankings, go back and watch that VOD. It's in my Owl House playlist on YouTube. So, like I teased earlier, I have a couple surprises for y'all, including this first one. We're gonna ramp up in the Convention was like my number my top 3 for season 1 were Agony of a Witch, Convention, and Understanding Willow. Convention was, I think, the most important episode of the series. It set so many things in motion. It gave us all the lore we needed for the whole show. Convention was truly one of the best episodes. Convention was so fucking good. But anyway, I mentioned earlier the bingo card that we made, where I had 5 predictions. The only prediction that did not come true was a Kristen Schaal appearance. Likewise, a lot of things I hear from the fandom is one of the biggest memes was the beach episode. So I went and I was inspired by something I saw from Amphibia. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Here it is. You know what? I'm gonna show you the first thing first, and then I'll show you the Amphibia thing. But here is a little. I made a little. I don't think you'd call it a comic, but I made a thing, a little graphic, a little picture, fan art, if you will, of the beach episode. So enjoy. I'm just gonna watch the chat here as this pops up for everybody. Laughing and crying. I purposely made it look crunchy. Also, the Bat Queen. I would not shut up about the Bat Queen throughout all of the end of the show. I was like, come on, I know it's gonna come up. I know Ida, she owes Ida a favor. I know it's gonna happen here. So I made this to see what a theoretical beach episode would look like of the Owl House. And so we get the things that you know, satisfy everything that I was talking about. We get Kristen Schaal, who makes an appearance in the beach episode. We get the Bat Queen favor. I don't know how that works. Eden King weren't even in the human realm. Bellows is in a season 1 fit. He doesn't want a sunburn. You know, I wanted to make one. I just wanted to make something that, like, the longer you look at it, the funnier it gets. Yeah, that's my, let's see if I can pull up the, I'm pulling up the, yeah, so here's what I was basing this off of. Let me move this over. Amphibia, if you've ever watched it, had an episode called The Dinner, which is a very good episode, but the official promo art that they've made for it looked like this. Let's see if I can, there, I can zoom in a little bit, which is the biggest, like, graphic design is my passion thing I've ever seen. So I took inspiration from this to make my beach episode graphic. I didn't do as good of a job making this horrible, but I tried my best. No, this is the one where Sasha and Marcy come over for a dinner at Hot Pop's house right at the end of season 2. And yeah, pretty much every episode I'm like, Bat Queen. I remember Bat Queen for when Bat Queen inevitably comes and gives Ida her favor. That's, you know, that favor was my white whale. But yes, this is my this is one of my opuses. The beach episode graphic. So I hope you enjoy this, folks. I'll post this in Discord later. By the way, if you're not in my Discord and wanna hop in the Discord, it's a fun place where we you know, if you want to hop in the Discord, there's a link to hop in the Discord. No pressure, but we talk about Owl House there and have a lot of fun. So yeah, so there's your beach episode, everybody. Hope you enjoy it. Would O Titan count as a beach episode? They went to the beach and King played in the surf. Not a full episode. It doesn't count. So what we are going to do now is we are going to go off and do our character tier list. So some of these characters, you know, yeah, not available. Doesn't matter. I don't even know who this is. Wait, was this one of the guys from Looking Glass Ruins? There's a lot of characters on here. Some of these don't warrant... We bully Tallman. Yeah, y'all bully the hell out of me, which is something I apparently need to do in this stream. Look at some of the spoiler tag stuff that y'all sent me. Okay, so here's the caveat I'm gonna make. If it's a character that, like, bumps Palisman, no. Whatever this is for Ida, you know what? You know, I'm gonna load up the NA tier. Like, Willow's dads, they can go at the top of NA tier, but they're not like, I really only want to do like main characters and Braxis. I'll just get that one out of the way right here. Like somebody's Palisman, no, get that out of here. This guy didn't have a line, no. Jean-Luc, sorry, but no. Palismans, no, not even String Bean. I probably shouldn't even look. Tibbles, I know he technically appeared, but you know, I'm sorry, Perry. You know, you can go up top with dads. Dads go here. Palismans don't matter. I'm sorry. String Bean, you know, you were only in the finale in a single cameo. Okay, you know what? This is fine. I have to rank Albert. Waffles was in the show for like 2 seconds. All right, hold on. Him, because I stand a man with a good beard. There. All right. Chill, guys. I'll get there. Okay. All right. Just like with the episodes, if you want me to talk about a certain character, just let me know and I will pull them. You know what? It pains me to do this. Moon Girl. Celeste. What was her name? I loved her design, but she didn't have a single line in the whole show, I don't think. But so she goes in NA tier. I'm sorry. This person did not have a line. NA tier. They were one of the Coven heads, I think. I don't even know what Coven head they were. Celine. That was her name. You, teacher, you had 1 line. 2 lines, maybe. Kenny? 2 lines. I'm just loading this thing up. All right, that's fine. All right. Let's start with my most controversial take of the whole series for a while is that I loved Kikimora for a little bit, but she was squandered potential. She had such potential to be a menacing, conniving, smart, yet quiet, off to the side villain, and they fucked it all up. They made her maniacal, terrible, out for vengeance with Hunter. So for just that alone, she goes in the F tier. And for a while, I was like, I like Kikimora. I'm on the Kikimora train. She's a good character. What are y'all talking about? And then I saw Eclipse Lake, and I was like, oh no, she sucks, actually. This is awful. So squandered potential. Every time Kiki was good, they ruined her. Even in King's Tide, they were like, hold on, I need other music. Just more Earthbound music. Okay. Yeah, every time she was good, they fucked her up. She had such potential. And yeah, even in King's Tide, she was like, if it means kicking the Emperor's butt, I'll take you to the Collector. And then next time we see her, she's terrible again. Hated her. I can't believe what they did to her. I don't even know who this is. This is going in at not available. Who is this? I don't even know who that is. This is going in there until someone can prove otherwise who that actually is. Is that Tarek? Is that Tarek when he takes his shit off? The guy who fired Oh, this was the guy. That's Devil Dinosaur. Same voice actor as Devil Dinosaur. This guy, the librarian. Which, oh god, I want to watch Moon Girl now all of a sudden. All right, can I just tell you for my channel? The Construction Coven guy. That's right. Yeah, he goes in not available tier. So I have as my 2 next series I'm doing Infinity Train seasons 3 and 4, and then Hilda. Hilda's pretty long, so that's going to go on for a while. But Infinity Train is just going to be 10 videos. So it's going to be pretty short. So after that, I'm free to pick something pretty soon after I start Infinity Train back up. And my heart knows that I should do Moon Girl. but I don't know if I'm ever going to get an opportunity to do Centaur World, so I think I'm going to do Centaur World in its place after that, and just everyone else can deal with it. Is this Bosch's Crab Palisman, or is this supposed to be Gerbo, and this is the best look we could get at him? If it's the Crab Palisman, it goes in bad Palisman tier. Yeah, none of these characters matter. Who is this? Is this Evelyn? Is this Evelyn in this tier list? She's not available either. Is this the Selkie Damas baby? Why did they put every character in here? Faust can stay. Faust at least was an important part of that episode. Skara I'll keep. What? Is that the cat Emperor's Coven, who is voiced by Dana Terrace, who was like, I quit! Evelyn wasn't even in the show. She was just mentioned once. Tiny Nose counts. We love Tiny Nose here. Or are you telling me to rank Tiny Nose? I'll rank Tiny Nose. She was just kind of nothing. She'll be in the middle of C tier. The two witches Bellos hated the most were both named after wives of Adam. Lilith and Eve. Evelyn. Okay. Tiny Nose is good, but just wasn't in season 2 enough. So keep in mind, this is a tier list for seasons 2 and 3, basically. Or at least my opinions as of the end of the show. Let's get... Who's this? Is this Gerbo out the way? Yeah, he was kind of a non-factor. Ooh, Collector. Let's... You know, I love the Collector. Every moment they were on screen, they were commanding. Just like Bellos was at the very end of season 1. Every moment we saw Bellos was just like, oh shit. Who's in your S tier? Who? This isn't... She's in your S tier? Sorry, she's in... Hey, this is not below F tier. This is just isn't an important character tier. Evelyn. I mean, technically she's important, but at the same time, it's like she was offhandedly mentioned once. Anyway, Collector. Collector in King's Tide had the same effect Bellos had in Agony of a Witch, in that every scene that they were in was just like, oh, fuck, kind of. And then even by the end, like, I really liked the Collector. They were a lot of fun. Even when they were being very childish, like asking for pizza bagels, you know, whatever. They were fine. They were fun. What else? What else? Is this the potions guy? The elixirs guy? You know, Gerbo helped with healing people of their palismans at the very end. So you know what? He'll go in C tier. Morton, nah. Bat Queen. Oh, Bat Queen. Bat Queen, who I wanted to see so much more of, that we saw one time in seasons 2 and 3, has to go down in D tier for I think Eden voice directed Amphibia as well. I think I remember that. Bat Queen is another character that's gonna go low just for squandered potential. They set so much up for Bat Queen in season 1, made her sound so important, and then she did fuck all in season 2. And I understand it was because they had to prioritize what story they wanted to tell, but so she got screwed by the what Disney did to the show, basically. But at the same time, she's just like, yeah. So she's gonna go down in D tier because she's almost a non-factor. She almost qualifies for NA tier. Ratings are going good. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Let's see, what else? Yeah, I did episodes already, so you can go back and check that one. Who are you? I recognize this character, but I don't know who they are. Basha is gonna stay in F tier, but unlike Kikimora, she sucked always. She sucked in season 1, so I already knew that she sucks. So the fact that she just continued to suck throughout seasons 2 and 3, like, yeah. She's still an F tier, but, you know, higher than Kikimora. Alador. I never cosplayed Alador. I'm so sorry, folks. It just never happened. I was totally planning on it. So once again, I mentioned the actor strike last year when I put the reactions on hold. I had planned for doing Alador cosplay on Halloween because Halloween fell on a Tuesday. That was an Owl House day. I was going to cosplay Alador on Halloween, which I think would have been, I planned it out ahead. It was going to be 3x1, thanks to them. So that was going to be me on Halloween as Alador, and then it just never happened. And kind of the whole actor strike thing kind of broke my soul for it, especially when I started Owl House back up. Like, it took a really long time for like the views to kind of come back. Like, I'd be like a month into posting reviews again. I'd get comments saying like, oh, I didn't even realize you were doing Owl House again. Cool. I'm going to go back and watch. So it just kind of sucked. Like, that whole, I had built up so much momentum with the series, and then like I made the decision to not cover any struck work, and it just like killed momentum for my channel for a little bit. Granted, we got some other cool stuff in there. I wouldn't have got onto murder drones when I did. We watched a lot of cool stuff during that time that nobody watched. But it's fine. It's fine. We're fine. It's fine. Alador, though, had a good arc. I would put him solidly in B tier, I think. Oh, thanks to them was a Halloween episode. That would have been so perfect. Holy shit. I didn't even think about that. Damn. What the AMPTP took from us. Let's see. You go there. Is this Caleb? Because we have Caleb and then Hunter. I'm assuming Hunter is somewhere else, right? Yeah, there's Hunter. I'm going to put Caleb right next to Evelyn. I've heard of Morning Mark just because people in Discord post about them and the arts that they do. Who else? I saw for the twins, so let's do the twins. I want to say last time I think I had Edric like one tier above Emera. And I think that's gonna remain the same. They were both kind of non-factors, but Edric still made me laugh every time he was on screen. Yeah, I think that feels about right. Edric was always a welcome sight. Emera was just always kind of there. And I'm sorry, it's just because the way her character was written was just kind of like, she's there. Ed being the goofy one is a lot more memorable. So, yeah, at least Caleb and Evelyn can be together. Finally, at the end of all things. Literally at the end of all things. This guy sucked. He's an F tier. This was the Gravesfield History Society guy, right? Yeah, he sucked. We don't need to talk about him very much. Bill sucked too, but at least he would, they both had convictions of what they believed in. Bill's were more interesting. Morning Mark posts a comic every day. My goodness. This girl from Looking Glass Ruins, I'm going to put her at the bottom of D tier because she sucked too, but at the same time, she did have one of my favorite line deliveries of the whole series. It was when one of the other guys she was with there, who was chasing off bugs, she was like, if you keep chasing off bugs, I'll make you eat them. And the way she delivered that line was like perfect. Perfect line delivery on that one. So for that, she gets bumped up to D tier. Let's do Adrian because he's at the top of this. Adrian sucked too. He was more annoying than she was. He was fabulous. So for that, he doesn't go in F tier. But I think I'm going to keep him in D tier. Yeah, he just kind of sucked. I love that after his run-in with Gus, he was just kind of a ruined man and just looked disheveled for the rest of the show and was like, don't look at me. That was fun. Ooh, yeah, they probably found out all of Bellos' shit afterwards and was like, wow, this guy sucked. Eber, I'm gonna do Eber here because I see them. Eber is another character that I feel like just didn't get enough screen time, but I really like their design and how fun they are. Like, I wanted, if we had a full season 3, I want a day in the life of Eberwolf. I want an episode with no dialogue that's just Eberwolf being a menace and just like doing their thing. I would want that episode to happen. But the fact that, you know, the series was cut short, Eber was just always kind of a sidekick of Darius, never really had a chance to do his own thing, right? Like, all these shows that have like these gremlin-ass characters, like for Hazbin Hotel season 2, I just want an episode that's just a day in the life of Nifty. I want that episode. I want a Nifty focused episode of her just being an absolute fucking menace the entire time. And I wanted the same for Eber. So the fact that we didn't get that and that Eber had such little screen time, I don't know. I don't think it's enough to bump them into C because I really like his design and he's fun. What he is in, I'm always happy that he's in. Let's see, who else? Who is this? This is another Palisman. Darius. I saw a request for Darius. Darius, I think just by virtue of being in the show more, I think goes in A tier. Good. I could just drop him straight into dad tier, but no, Darius actually had some kind of a presence in the show. I always enjoyed Darius. Darius was very powerful. I loved the Abomination stuff. I always thought Abomination magic was kind of mid as far as magic goes, but just seeing that Darius like became the Abomination when he would do the shit was so cool. I loved it so much. And yeah, just his whole arc with being like a surrogate dad to Hunter was just really sweet. Yeah, Darius was great. I loved Darius, and just his whole thing about being jealous / like bitter towards Alador. Like, Jam, I think it was you that posted a comic in there of him on Tinder or something, and he sees Alador, or no, it's Alador on Tinder, and it shows Darius swiping and he sees Alador and he's like, oh, fine. Yo, $2. Thank you. I don't know why it says let's celebrate your first super, because I got one earlier tonight, but thank you so much for the $2. I appreciate it. Is it because it's in American dollars and not in Swedish kronor? Lego Ida in the Wormhouse. Oh gosh. So Lego Ida, I don't know. I'm not familiar with Lego Ida. I'm gonna Google right now. What the fuck is this? What am I even looking at here? I love that this is like super crunchy JPEG looking and it like just looks like shit right here. What is, I don't even understand. So y'all said this came from an episode in season 1, right? Y'all were trying to explain the meme to me right now, but I just do not know. That was that for, no, that was the Tinder one, was a Morning Mark comic. Lego Ida is an example of the insanity that happens in fandoms. So the Wormhouse I'm at least somewhat familiar with. That's been posted in Discord before. Also, who's this guy? I don't know who this is. I don't know who that is. I think that's another Coven head. Yeah, I think that character in episode 8, the really, really tall collector, I think that was supposed to be an archivist, but this, just the fact that they shared the same voice was confusing to me as a watcher. I don't know who this is. You don't matter. Doesn't matter. Let's do Dell. Dell is a character who was barely in the show. You know what? Dell is going to go in dad tier, but Dell's going to go at the top of dad tier, I think. Because every scene they were in, this just if the only scene we saw him in was him with Ida, when he gave her the Palistrom wood and just like kind of showed her that like he can't carve them anymore because his hands are shaky. Like, oh, that scene was so like heartbreaking, man. He goes at the top of dad tier, I think. Yeah, Hazbin has Cursed Cat, what's his name? The Radio Demon, Alistar. Cursed Cat Alistair is fun. Faust, I'll just put Faust. he was well designed, really creepy for what he was, and I love the kids walking too quietly. You can't trust him. It was just he felt like Batman, right? But just, with just the most insane shit ever. I think he's gonna go at the start of C tier, above Tiny Nose. He was fun, if albeit just not important to the show at all. You don't matter. Barkus is another character that I'll just put him right next to Faust, because it was another one of those characters that every time he was on screen, it was funny. Like, I think one of the only moments they had in this season was when Hunter was telling everyone about the Day of Unity and everyone was asking him questions. Like, it was like, have you ever sneezed in your mask? And he said, like, yeah. Or he asked something ridiculous to Hunter, and it made me laugh. I loved it. Who else we got? I think we're mostly done. This is Tarek, right? Tarek sucks, but at least he's got a good voice. So I'm going to put him right above Adrian, I think. Because we got the good voice people right here. What's her name here? And then Tarek. The people crave the truth. That's right. That's what he said. Yes. Yes, thank y'all. Barkus is so much fun. Ooh, let's do Rain. Ooh, where's S tier? Where's S tier, baby? Rain instantly became one of my favorites. So, actually, I don't know if I would even say instantly, but just like, you know, there's that meme of Ellie from Last of Us, and it says, name a character that went through more pain than her. I'll wait. And I feel like Rain is that for this series. I think I called them the Marcy of this series. If you've ever seen Amphibia, if you know, you know. But Rain, oh my God, Rain. Just even like, not even just the fact that like Rain told us that they were powerful, and that Ida, just the fact that Ida described them as the kick buddiest bard I've ever met. The fact that Belos said about them, you've always been annoyingly powerful. Like, the fact that we've got all these characters that are just constantly like talking up Rain as being the most powerful, one of the most powerful witches they've ever met. I still think one of the best voice acting performances was the Rain's voice actor, Avi Roque, I think the name is pronounced. As Belos, possessing the puppet Rain, pretending to be Rain, but actually being Belos, is one of the best voice acting performances I've ever heard. Of still Rain, but with that little bit of Belos darkness to it. Avi, it's Avi Roque, right? But yeah, oh, Rain, just, oh man, Rain always made me happy. Like, I was so sad when, like, I would just want to make sure they were okay. And then there was the parade episode. I'm like, oh no, they're not okay. And then we saw the Them's the Breaks kid, and we're like, oh, they are okay. And then we saw King's Time, we're like, oh no, are they okay? And then we saw 3x2, and we're like, oh no, they're not okay. And then we saw 3x3, and we're like, okay, they're okay. So there's a lot of Rain was a roller coaster throughout the series. And the fact that the character themselves, whenever they show up, can be that roller coaster is good. Hang on one second. Okay, I'll figure this out later. But yeah, Rain is awesome. It scares Luce's voice actor when the moment came. Yo, do they have things of like the voice actors reacting? Because that stuff has recently become like my like crack. When the live action Avatar came out, I found a reaction series of Toph's voice actor going through the whole animated series, and it was really cool. There was a Final Fantasy VII remake let's play of Aerith's voice actor going through that game as well, and that was a phenomenal let's play. So please, if you have any reactions of anything of voice actors reacting to their own stuff they were in, like, shoot those my way. I found one of the Amazing Digital Circus actors reacting to Amazing Digital Circus. I think it was Zubal's voice actor, who's a VTuber. That was fun. Viney, I like a good bit. I still like more than Gerbo just because she's more fun. Wait, Post-Toot with Rebecca Sugar? Is that the Rebecca you're talking about? Or is that a different... I'm trying to sort something out real quick. Okay. All right, I think I'm good. Okay. All right, sorry about that, folks. I was trying to sort something out real quick on my end. Rebecca Rose. Okay, somebody different. Okay. Though, speaking of Rebecca Sugar, did you hear that they're working on a screenplay of a movie for Sony Animation with what's his name who did Amphibia? Matt Brawley. That's exciting. I can't wait to see that. Titan, Boiling Isles Titan, in a single scene, but they were very good. They're gonna go at the bottom of A tier. Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to see whatever movie that is. That's not even gonna be a reaction movie. That's gonna be I'm gonna watch that for me movie. Yeah, I've listened to most of Rebecca Sugar's EP. I don't think I've gotten through it, the whole or album or whatever it is. I don't think I've gotten all the way through it, but I listened to it driving one time and I was like, this is really good, but might put me to sleep on the road. That's why I didn't finish it. I love Rebecca Sugar. Gwen. We've rated Dell. Let's rate Gwen. Her saying, and one of the reasons why that 2x4 reaction is one of my favorites I did, just that scene of her saying, leave. I was just like, oh, ma'am. Like, she's kind of a baddie. Not gonna lie. She old, but she a baddie. I think, oh man, she was in the show so little though, but every scene she was in was another like really good scene. She made me feel things. She was another roller coaster for the scenes she was in. So I think for that, I'm going to put her up here in A tier, slightly above the Titan. Keep in mind, any other characters you want to see, I'm saving some of the main ones for last. I'm saving like Luz, Amity, and Ida for last. But if there's any other characters you want me to do, just call them out. Who is... Oh, no, these don't count. These were season 1. And whose Palisman is this? This isn't Flapjack, because that's Flapjack. And it's not Waffles, because that's not Waffles. Is that Ida's dad's Palisman? I don't know. Let's do Matholamule. That's Dell's Palisman? Okay. So Matt, I want to say in season 1, I put in F tier or D tier. And then Looking Glass Ruins happened, and I was like, okay, he's working his way out of F tier up to like the C tier. I think I said in Looking Glass Ruins, if I were to do the tier list today, he'd be in C tier. But 3x2, just seeing that he was actually just a really good dude. I can't put him above Eber, but I think he goes in the B tier. It got to the point where I enjoyed Matholamule. Yeah, I know they're half brothers. I've seen that. I finished my Coca-Cola. Okay, what else we got? A couple characters left. Masha, we'll just grab, they were in one episode. I did miss the they them tag on their placard on their desk at the society. They're cool. I've seen Ronya, who was in here earlier, since she loves V so much, has posted a lot of fan art. So Masha was in 2 episodes. 2 episodes? Oh yeah, that's right. Yesterday's live, we saw them that V as Luz was interacting with, right? I forgot about that. But then they were in 3x1, they were in the Gravesfield History Society. That's right. I don't think I can put them in D, because D is characters with like squandered potential or that I just didn't really like very much. I think Masha's got to go at the bottom of C tier. The tarot reading, that's right. You know what? There. That feels good from Masha, because Masha at least gave the story about Billup, Caleb, and Evelyn, right? That was at least a cool scene that they were in. More so than I can say for anybody else below them in the tier. So yeah, but enjoyable, but barely in the show. So I think that's why they have to stay in the C tier. They made me happy when they were on screen, but not as much as Faust and Barkus. So I hope that's acceptable. Skara is just kind of another whatever character. Skara's gonna go right here under Masha, I think, if I can get them there, if I can get her there. I liked her design. I don't think I commented on it in my reaction for the finale, but I really liked her design with like the braids, and we finally saw her like playing the harp at the end. That was cool. Big bro just got a hot witch girlfriend, and little bro got upset. Yep, that was good. That's a good summary of the whole Bello story summed up. He was an incel who got jealous. Oh man, we got a lot of good characters left. We also have some shit characters left. Odalia. You know, I'm gonna put Odalia because she was another just like Basha that kind of always sucked, but I think she sucked more interestingly than Basha, so I think she's got to go there by virtue of that. Steve. Ooh, don't get me started on Steve. Steve is a character that I don't understand the love for, because I don't know. Steve didn't do it for me, and I wasn't in the fandom when the show was airing, so I'm sure there was so much shit of Steve throughout the People Crave Steve. I'm sure there was so much Steve from week to week as the show was airing and while we were waiting for season 3 episodes. But me watching week to week, only really watching by myself, only having those real, that's it for Steve. Steve just didn't do it for me. So, Steve. Fans love characters named Steve. Steve is... Steve can go at the bottom of C tier. Steve, I'm sorry, Steve did not do anything for me, and I'm happy for y'all that y'all love Steve, but I don't. Ooh, these are getting tough. Tara will do. She sucked, but was at least fun. She had some charm. She's not going to go in the F tier. She is going to go somewhere right around Adrian. I think I liked her. I liked her presence more than I did Adrian. She was at least in more of the show than Adrian. So I think for that, she's got to go there. Now it's getting tough. So Waffles was in like 3 seconds of the show, but 3 seconds that made me just absolutely fucking ugly cry. So for that, I think I have to put them in at least the bottom of B tier, just because just their sheer presence and the fact they exist, like, did things to me emotionally. So I think that's where Waffles has to go. Flapjack, we got a lot more Flapjack in the show though. And I felt things with Flapjack, but not as much as Waffles. I find Albert's fine. These 3 palismans can all go together here. Just Flapjack, even though I felt more things for... Well, technically, I did also feel very strong emotions seeing Flapjack's, like, tombstone. This tier list does not line up exactly with my perception, is therefore invalid. Toxic internet people. Yep. Sounds about right. That's the curse of being a internet content creator. We're out of music. I'm just going to leave the music off for the rest of the stream. Hope that's fine. What else? Flapjack and Waffles did technically get to meet here on my tier list. All the burbs got to meet each other. And while we're doing palismans, let's do String Bean. String Bean, I think, is a really cool design. So if we're just going to kind of lump all the palismans together, I'm going to put String Bean right above the rest of the other palismans. This is B/palisman tier. B/cool palisman tier. I had my called shot that String Bean was going to be a duck because let's see why. So the bird thing, we had the owl lady, Ida, the whole birds. So I thought it was going to be some kind of a bird. In Grom, she went to text her mom and didn't know what to say. So she just hit like the duck emoji and it made a kind of noise. So I was like, maybe that's the thing with her and her mom. There's that whole phrase, an odd duck, that people say about weirdos, which is one of the main themes of the series. I thought a duck. I thought I had it. Plus, there was even in the library episode 7 of season 1, I think it was, when we see a duck out there. She says, "Aw, cute little quackster." I was like, she's got a thing for ducks. She likes ducks. Ducks are a thing with her and her mom. Maybe duck palisman. I got it. And then it was string bean, something that we never could have predicted. Wow, I'm seeing lots of mixed things in the chat. I love string bean. I don't love string bean. Wow. Opposite ends right there. I saw a call for Warden Wrath. He was kind of a non-issue in here. I'll put him. He's just another character that was in like maybe 1 or 2 episodes. So he's going to go right, squandered, but not as much as Bat Queen. So I'm going to put him just right here in D tier. Principal Bump didn't have much to do this season, but I still very much like the character. Let's see. Bump. We saw Bump's long hair in season 2, right? See, I'm trying to think seasons 2 and 3 all together. So I think I have to put Bump. Bump's going to go here at the top of B tier, I think, because I think he's still a great character. We got some good moments with him in seasons 2 and 3. Yeah, when he cries in the expulsion episode, "It's not fair." We finally saw his Coven brand. And just the fact that I don't remember if this was season 1 or 2, but when the Basilisk came to Hexside, that was season 1. But just when he jumped out in front of the students to like defend them, like, it's cool shit. Like he's just a good guy. His background in them's the breaks. Yeah, Young Bump, which is just the same voice actor trying to put on a younger voice. That's fun. I like Bump a lot. He's a lot of fun. Let's do V, I think. V, and I know Vronya is going to be mad at me for this, but V was just, I think I said it earlier, V was the character that got done the dirtiest in the show, because you can tell that they were planning to do a lot with her. The fact that how early they like teased her and set her up. But just the fact that they had to cut down the series so much, they had to prioritize. And so V therefore got probably a lot of things cut. If they had a lot more time in the human realm, we would have seen a lot more of V. But as is, we got like 2 episodes with V, really. So for that, V is going to go, let's see. That feels right for V. Because I do like her. She's a good character, good design. Absolutely debated with the evil loose doppelganger stuff. Yeah, I just wish we would have got more of her, which I guess, why that qualifies her for B. I wanted to see more of the character. We just didn't. She got done a little bit dirty. So there's that. Okay, so I saw somebody say Hunter. Hunter's going in S tier. I think he's going to go under Rain, because I really liked Hunter in the arc that he had and the whole found family kind of aspect of the character. Hunter was great. I love the voice actor. Love everything about Hunter, really. And just like all the moments of Hunter, like kind of letting his guard down and realizing that he has the found family kind of thing. Yeah. Hunter was great. I loved Hunter. We'll do Gus. Gus, I think, is a solid... You know what? I think Gus can go at the bottom of A, just because Gus had several moments throughout seasons 2 and 3 where he was just really fucking powerful. You know what? Gosh. Yeah, I'll put Gus under Darius, I think. Gus was really good. Gus had a lot more... Even though he was a very not utilized character, the moments where he was utilized, like, hit really hard. And just the fact of his proximity with his relationship with Hunter and kind of like being that little brother, but also at the same time kind of mentor to Hunter. Gus was great. Gus had, like I said, also very underutilized, but also had like some really good moments. So, hey, Mulder, whenever you watch the rest of this, hey, there we go. Oh my God. King. No, let's do Willow. So Willow in my season 1 tier list was basically, so the in my season 1 tier list, S tier was the Ida tier, and it was only Ida. And then it was Willow, who was my favorite character that wasn't Ida. But Willow had nothing to do throughout like the entirety of the rest of the show, except for like 2 episodes. Yeah, I know like the sports, the flyer derby was cool for her and everything, but for the most part, she just had absolutely nothing to work with. So I think that's gonna bump her all the way down to the top of B tier, probably. Which I'm really sorry to say, but like that's how I feel. Like they just like I know people talk about Gus being like underused and underrepresented. Where the fuck was Willow? Hello? I wanted more of her. She was like my favorite. She was the one who on my bingo card I had written down, I will relate way too hard to a main character and feel bad about it. And immediately, episode 3 of the first season, when she was in the wrong major at Hexside and had to make that change, but couldn't, like, oh, I'm supposed to be in the abomination classes, but I'm just not good at it. I need to try harder. Then realizing I'm good at the plant magic. I should change to that track. That was me in college. She made me feel so seen immediately in the show. I was like, yes, I love this character. And then understanding Willow became one of my favorite episodes of all of season 1. And then in season 2, it was just like, hey, what are you going to do with Hunter? I don't know. She plays sport. So yeah, so unfortunately, Willow probably falls off the hardest of any character in the show, which is unfortunate because I loved her so much in season 1, and then she just like was a non-factor. Lilith? I see. Let's do Lilith. Old piss drinker Lilith. She was a lot more featured in the top of the season. I think she's an A tier character, probably the bottom of A tier character. The VOD itself, I mean, I can take a screenshot of the video after I'm done, but like the VOD itself is going to be up for the rest of forever. Lilith herself, like she was a lot more focused on at the start of season 2 when she was actually living at the Owl House, and then got a couple episodes here and there. She's a good character. She didn't have much of an arc after the first season. After she lost her ability to do natural magic, she was just kind of like her character realized, and she was fine. She was still a good character. And I liked her a good bit. She was always fun when she was on screen. We had the big meme about her drinking piss, which some of y'all are confused, but other people are like, yep, checks out. Lilith drinks piss. I saw a request for Hootie a little bit ago, which y'all are going to enjoy the last thing I do tonight, if y'all are confused. Hootie was, always just kind of the same. That feels good for Hootie. He was fun. They really didn't have like hardly any Hootie in season 3. Hootie didn't have a single line in the finale. Hootie had like 4 lines in 3x2. So I'll explain piss drinking Lilith in a little bit. Hootie had 1 line in season. Oh yeah, he had 1 line in season 3. Be it thou, Lulu. I should. I'm going to put it there just so Hootie can be right next to Lilith in some regard. Yeah, I mean, Hootie's a static character. I have not watched the Hootie Hole Theory from the Third Bill. I meant to. I messaged the Third Bill to ask, like, hey, do you mind if I do a reaction to your Hootie Hole Theory? And he never got back to me, so I was just like, fuck it. I'm just going to not do it. Yeah, Hootie's door was one of the best episodes, but not because of Hootie. Hootie just happened to be there for it. It was just more so that everybody else's stuff. He just catalyzed everything, right? It was just kind of there to witness everything. I'm gonna do King. King, I think, goes right under Hootie, because even though King got some really good development this season, he was still just kind of like fine for me. Hootie was the clown. Yeah. Yeah, King was always, I don't know, he was never my like S tier character, and even when the more we found out about him, I was still just like, oh, that's cool. But it didn't really change my opinion of King. So I think King is gonna stay right about there, because at the end of the day, I think in a shootout I'd take Hootie over King. Sorry, no more Titans on the Boiling Isles, but King. Okay, so let's do Camila. I think I know how we're gonna do this. Okay, so Camila technically could go in the dad tier, being a single parent, but Camila was awesome. I enjoyed Camila a lot. I made Titans go completely extinct by putting him in the B tier. He's extinct? No, man. Nah. Camila was a very, very good mom. Every scene she was in, she was, doing something cool. Getting a tiny little bit of an arc with her, like, and seeing the guilt she felt over sending Luce away to the school or to the camp, which ended up being the Boiling Isles, and her finally eventually going to the demon realm with Luce and doing magic herself. I loved Camila. Yeah, Camila, she's a good mom. Great character. Let's do Amity next and keep it with these three for last. Amity, I think Amity goes in A tier. But where in A tier? I think I have to put her above Gus just by virtue of her doing more stuff. I think I liked Alador more, even though he was in less of the show. So I think this feels about right, which means I have to bump King up so that Hootie can be next to Lulu. Amity was great. I mean, she was already a great character in season 1, and then in season 2, Lumity became canon, and Amity was just overall a great character. There's literally nothing else I can add to this. Yeah, Amity was cool. Belos, oh my god, what a villain. Belos is going in the S tier. I think I gotta put him here because he was so fucking evil, and I love that there was just no shot at redemption for Belos. That he was just evil to the end, and was just like, I'm gonna kill all the witches or die trying. Goopy Belos, even when he was completely defeated, he still hung on and still found a way to survive. Belos finds a way, and just did everything in his power he could to just like stay ahead. And I just love that his end was so pathetic that it was just him as a goopy little skull on the ground and just got stomped out by like Rain, Ida, and King. That was really cool. Yeah, I mean, I think he was essentially in my S tier in season 1 just because I was like, hey, he's only been in 2 episodes, but he has such a commanding presence. He just for how evil he is. Like, there's some villains that like they try to do the redemption thing for and it doesn't quite work, or a villain that's like evil but barely in the show. And just, oh man, like Belos was so threatening. Even though he was technically a human, technically powerless throughout all of this, he was still just so menacing and threatening. Belos was phenomenal villain. Absolutely loved him. Let's go with Ida next. Ida was my favorite character in season 1, but unfortunately, I think she lost a bit in season 2. She is not my favorite character anymore by a long shot. I think she still goes in there. Yo, two more dollars. Number 1, Luce. 2, King. 3, Amity. Are those in all of the show? Like, those are your top 3 in the whole show? Or just like of like the main cast? Ida did lose to Rain, actually, just by virtue of, yes, she became more motherly as the show went on, but there was just something about her being such a baddie in season 1, like able to do just like anything with magic, that kind of gave her the swagger and confidence to be like the best around. And then when she lost that in season 2, there was just something about that like made her more of a subdued character as well. I still loved her. She was still fantastic. You know, she still might be an S, actually. I think she's got it. I think she's going to go right here. You know, no, I can't put her under the Collector. I think she's got to go there. She's still in the S tier, but she dropped a lot for me in season 2. But for the whole overall show, Ida was a fantastic character. And now we come to Luz. And if you watched my finale reaction, you'll know that Luz has become my favorite character. If I can move Rain out of the... Hello, Rain, get out of there. Luz has become my favorite character in the entire show. Luz, like in season 1, she was great. She was like my 3rd or my 4th favorite character. But in season 2, it really became the Luz show for me. That she just, every opportunity, she stepped up. And she was, oh my God, she was just so wonderful all the time. She was just such a sweetheart to everybody. And it's weird because when I was just talking to Jenny, I was talking to you about Amphibia the other day. And I was saying that one of the things about Anne that I like so much in Amphibia is that she starts off as just kind of a shitty character. She's not a good person at the start of the show and becomes a better person throughout all of it. Whereas Luz was just kind of always a sweetheart. Rambunctious, yes. Got into messes, yes. But at the same time, she was just so sweet to everybody and always wanted to help, always wanted to do her best. And, you know, for a moment in the finale, she was the most powerful being in existence. And I love that for her. The "now eat this sucker" like was the most exhilarating line delivered. The point where she even fought Ida towards the end of season 2 because of what she believed in, that she just wanted to do her part to help. Talk about Anne and Luz having opposite character arcs. I wouldn't even say opposite character arcs. I'd just say that Luz like had a different arc, right? Like she was always kind of a good person, just kind of a nerd and rambunctious and everything. But yeah, no, Luz became like the best character of the show, and I'm glad she got her moment to be like truly the witch she wanted to be at the beginning of the show. But also realizing that when that all went away, she was still the witch that she always was, right? Luz is just such a phenomenal character. I love Luz so much. So that's my character tier list. Take it or leave it. That's what it is. And we're done here, or we would be. But I have one more surprise. Like I teased earlier, I have one more crime that I have committed. And Ronya in here was asking me if I was ever going to read any fan fiction live. Little did she know that I have written a fan fiction. I have written Owl House fan fiction, folks. So I have posted this on Archive of Our Own, an account that I created a couple days ago. The only fan fiction I will ever write. I'll link it in the chat right here. But the title is... I'm going to say it before I link it here. The title of the fanfic is just Lilith Drinks Piss. So there's that. No Oracle could have seen this coming. That's right. So I'm going to do a live reading of my fanfic. I've linked it in the chat. I wrote this in a single day. This is the Lilith drinking piss fan fiction. So to kind of give the story, during the 2x4 reaction, I was talking about people that fall for scams of fake medicine, fake science stuff. And I specifically mentioned there's a group of people that think drinking piss is healthy for you, that it's good for you. And it's just like, no, but there's people that do it. And so somehow me mentioning that there's some people that drink piss, somehow, I think it was in the live reaction chat, the live premiere chat, morphed into Lilith the drinks piss. I don't remember how, but that's how it morphed. And all of a sudden I thought of like a backstory for why Lilith would drink piss, that why it would help her in this scenario. And I'm going to do a dramatic reading of my fan fiction right now. The notes here is this takes place immediately after the events of Young Blood, Old Souls. So like right after the end of season 1, this is where this picks up. Holy hoot! You guys look horrible! Not now, Hootie, Ida sighed as she pushed open the door to the owl house. I'm tired. We're all tired. We need some sleep. Ida, Luz, and King walked into their home, heads hanging low from the experience they had all just had. Lilith stopped outside the door. After all she had done, she couldn't bring herself to walk inside. And on top of all that, she felt awful. I wish I could have at least thought this through a little bit more, she thought to herself. Being unable to do magic was new for her. She had always worked hard to be the best she could be. And now, what was all that for? Everything she had devoted her life to was now gone. A powerless witch and a terrible sister, too. Get in here, Lily. You're letting all the good air out, Ida snapped from 2 rooms over. Lilith took one step, and then another, and was inside. Hootie closed behind her, saying, Alarm setting for the night! To which Ida, walking in from the kitchen, mumbled, Darn it, Luz, why'd you tell Hootie about your home security systems? He does this every night now. Ida was holding 2 bottles of liquid. Here, Lily, you're going to need to start drinking these. Ida tossed them both into the air, catching them both in the crooks of her arms before twisting the corks off. Just a little trick she had picked up trying to steal human artifacts from a nearby frat house at a nearby university. In one motion, Ida tossed both bottles back up into the air, catching the one that she lifted to her lips, and the other she extended out to Lilith. Lilith reached out for it timidly, asking, What is this? Elixir. Ida managed to get out between gulps. She finished downing her bottle and said, Look, if you just split this curse with me, eventually it's going to rear its ugly head for you. And you, being the one who gave it to me, knows how angry it'll be. So you might as well start treating it now. Ida wiped her mouth and plopped down on the couch next to where Luz and King were already laying and closed her eyes. Lilith stared at the bottle in her hand. She didn't deserve this. After all she'd done for Ida, Ida now invites her into her home, let her stay, and is helping treat her new curse? It didn't feel right. After all, if it was her, she wouldn't be this easy to forgive. She lifted the bottle up to her mouth and stopped. The smell was awful. She recoiled a bit. Lilith had experience with potion making in the past, but the smell was unlike anything she'd ever encountered. It almost smelled like... Wait. Maybe Ida was trying to get back at her after all. But she had just seen Ida consume the same yellow liquid. How often will I have to drink this? Lilith asked, trying to get a little more information out of her sister. Depends on the day. Maybe 4, 5, Ida answered as she was rubbing the stress from her eyes. And what's in it? Geez, Lily, I don't know. Just drink it. Lilith couldn't shake the feeling that there was something wrong about all this. The smell, it was so familiar, but oh no. Lilith all of a sudden thought she knew what this was, and then she couldn't get the thought out of her head. This was Ida trying to pull one on her. It just had to be. Ida had just tried to get Lilith to drink piss. She was sure of it. She lowered the bottle. How long have you been drinking these? Lily, it's been years. If you don't trust me after all this, then fine. Give it a few days and see how you feel once the beast starts to take over. With that, Ida shambled up from the couch, looked down at Luz and King, who had already fallen asleep from the exhaustion of the day, and started to go up to bed. Look, it's not much, but nudge Luz and tell her to scoot over. There should be room on the couch for both of you. I'll see you in the morning and we'll figure out something more. And she stumbled up the stairs and out of sight. Lilith took the bottle into the kitchen, poured the elixir out the window. Thanks for your hospitality, Ida, but this one I don't trust. She went back into the living room and lay down awkwardly on the couch. There wasn't enough room for her, but she made herself fit. In the morning, she felt worse. Her neck and back were sore from the corkscrew position she was laying in. She seemed to be the first awake, startled awake by Hootie yelling, Beep, 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 disarmed! She sat up and looked out the window. What was she going to do with her life now? As the others woke up and congregated in the kitchen for breakfast, Ida made an offhand remark that she was glad Lilith could get the elixir down and just to ask her when she wanted some more. Lilith felt her eyes narrow and then caught herself, hoping nobody else noticed. As time went on, she watched Ida. Just as she said, she drank about 4 to 5 elixirs per day herself. She'd asked Ida for one here and there and poured it out when nobody was looking, but she couldn't get why Ida would just keep up this charade. Luce and King didn't mention anything about it. Why was she so dedicated to this sick joke that she was just willing to drink her own piss just to get Lilith to do the same? On the fourth day at the Owl House, Lilith was feeling awful. She could feel something inside of her trying to get out. Was this the curse? Panicking, she ran upstairs into the bathroom. Was Ida telling the truth? What if this that she was drinking actually worked? She could feel a tightness in her chest as she desperately tried to figure out what to do. Well, if I'm going to drink piss, it's going to be my own. Lilith muttered to herself as she picked up an empty bottle laying off to the side of her room. She turned to face the door to make sure nobody was coming in, and relieved herself into the bottle. She hadn't ever done anything like this before, and she peed on her hands and onto the floor a little. She took a deep breath, pinched her nose, and took a quick but small sip. Ugh! She retched as she almost spit out what was in her mouth. She forced herself to swallow. She took 3 more deep breaths and then upended the bottle, chugging it down. I'm just reading the chat as I'm reading this, and everyone is just like, what the fuck is this? It's Lilith drinking piss. You knew this was going to happen. It's in the title. Where was I? She chugged it down. She felt herself retch again. She did her best to keep herself from throwing up. She immediately felt a sense of relief, but couldn't tell if what she did worked or if it was some placebo effect. She could still feel what was inside of her stirring, but for now she had to hope that what she had done had worked. Okay, she asserted herself, looking into the mirror. You can do this. Over the next few days... See? Okay, but this is actually good. I told you. I wrote a legitimate fanfic. It just happens to be about Lilith drinking piss because she mind gamed herself into it. Over the next few days... Lilith secreted a way to drink piss in private. She still didn't feel too much better, but she didn't feel worse either. She still asked Ida for some of her elixirs to hide the fact that she was, in essence, making her own. Once, Ida even remarked, "Well, Lily, you must really be loving these," as she snorted and handed her 2 bottles instead. For when you get thirsty again. She once again poured them out when nobody was looking. This went on for a week. Lilith downed bottle after bottle of piss in secret. She didn't notice after a few days, but she was starting to actually get used to it. She was no longer fighting the urge to throw up after drinking, just took it down. About a week into this endeavor, tragedy struck. She had grown a little careless in her efforts, it now being a part of her everyday routine, and did not lock the door behind her as she went up to make her first bottle of the morning. Midstream, she heard the door open behind her. It was Luz. Luz stopped in the doorway, mid-yawn, and gawked at what she was looking at, stunned. She took 1 step back and started closing the door. Miss Lilith, and then just fully closed the door. Lilith put her bottle down and went and opened the door. Luz was still standing with this exact same expression on her face as when she had closed the door. Miss Lilith? What are you doing? Lilith responded, it's the elixir. I figured out what it is, and I've been doing this myself for the past week. A look of horror crossed Luz's face. Miss Lilith, I've heard people in the human realm who do this, but I always assumed it was nonsense. But as far as the elixirs go, I've seen Morton make them when Ida takes me down to the market. Whatever you think is in the elixir, it's safe. I've even tried it once. Lilith's face immediately flushed red as she scrambled to find words. I just... Luz, I thought... Oh, Titan. Luz, please don't tell anyone. Luz sheepishly looked at Lilith and said, Hey, Miss Lilith, I know how bad it would feel for something like this to get out. I promise I won't tell King or Ida or anybody about this. You should probably go try the real elixir. Luz and Lilith walked downstairs as Ida was finishing preparing breakfast. Took you too long enough. I thought I was going to have to eat this all on my own. She snorted again. Lilith, now doing her best to remain composed, asked, Could I get an elixir to start my day off right? Eda smiled and handed one over. She popped off the cork and took her first real sip and started coughing. It tasted even more terrible than it smelled, and at this point, worse than the piss. Oh, this is terrible. Come on, Lily, it's from the same batch as all the ones you had yesterday. I thought you were a pro by now. What gives? Then all of a sudden, Hootie stretched into the kitchen. It's because Lilith's been drinking piss for the past week. As Luce bounded over to cover his mouth, Lilith's face, which had just returned to its normal pallor, turned bright red again. Wait, Lily? You? She looked at the bottle of yellow liquid and then back at her sister, then collapsed on the ground, laughing and snorting. King, who was standing the closest to Lilith, took two steps back and simply said, Ew. Let's never speak of this again, Lilith meekly said as she shrunk down into her seat at the table. And they never did. The end. That's my fanfic. I saw several posts in there that were saying like, yo, why is this actually well written? But that's my fanfic for my Lilith drinking piss meme that happened here. There's now immortalized on AO3. So, I think I'm going to post this little bit as like a standalone YouTube video next week. But y'all got to experience this live. So hope y'all enjoyed. Hey, I'm gonna be cutting this stream off here in a minute, but thank y'all for being here. Thanks for the super chats. I've never gotten any of those before on my streams. I appreciate it. Does anyone have any last minute questions about the Owl House or anything they want to ask me before we kind of close the book on this series for forever? Give it a few seconds for the chat to catch up. Thanks for the stream. It was fun. Hey, no problem. I haven't done a stream like this for any other series. This is now the second one I've done for the Owl House. But why? The one question, but why? I had to. It's content. Y'all were telling me this was well written. Y'all encouraged me after the fact. All talking about fan fiction and everything. I told y'all I was gonna write one. But yeah, this, like I said, the Owl House reactions have truly been something special. Just the community of people that came by week after week was awesome. I'm going to miss y'all. Hope you come back for whatever series I do next. And even if whatever I do next isn't to your liking, just stop by every now and again, see what I'm up to, and see if something else is. So, yeah. Thank y'all. Thank everybody. It's been a wonderful experience. And hey, I think we all got to end this right. Everybody at chat all at once. Let's all say it together. You know how we end these things around here. 3, 2, 1. Bye. The last one for real.